All right. I had a little hiatus, at least, you know, a slight 1 week hiatus. We had a couple family events that came up, so took the week off, got a bunch of stuff printed. I'm up about 6, 7 models right now. But for this week, I'm going to start the first part of a 3-part series that's going to be these gigantic stellarblade models that a 3D artist under the name of Patty actually put together all these. He did Eve, Tachy, and Raven. And all I have left is Eve to actually print, and that will be the last part. Part 2 will be Raven, and obviously Tachy is part 1. So I decided, instead of 1/6 scale, why the heck not do this in a 1/4 scale? I don't do 1/4 scale very often. I've done 1, and it was an absolute pain in the butt because it was absolutely gigantic. And maybe in this video I'll actually show it because, yeah, that was a big print, and also one of my first prints I ever did. Just decided, hey, let's do 1/4 scale. But as you can see here, print came out absolutely awesome. A lot of resin was used on this print, a lot of mess ups, a lot of ifs and buts, but you know, is what it is. As you can see here, this blade is literally the size of the entire model, and it sticks up to about here because her arms literally hold the blade in place, and it's somewhere like this. You'll get the picture. I don't have any blue tack or I'd put this all together. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop yakking in here, and I'm actually gonna get outside to start priming this model and sanding it down because I went a little heavy on the supports because I didn't know how heavy things were actually gonna be. So I gotta sand quite a bit of this down, unfortunately. A lot of bumps and stuff, and try not to mess up the carbon texture weave that's actually on the model itself. So like I said, enough yapping. I'm gonna get out there, start sanding this thing up, and yeah, cue the music. You're gonna just sit back and enjoy like I did in my last video. Also, Kana makes a surprise appearance in the video again because she's so dang cute and she always wants to be underneath me all the time. So I'm gonna put her at the beginning of the video this time so you can see her. Yes. And after our little spray paint palooza outside and all the sanding's done, I'm gonna get into the actual voiceover here. So starting out, I'm just using a chainmail metallic set and a higher silver color as well, both from Vallejo. And I'm just gonna use these to dry brush all the metallics that are actually all over the body. As you can see, I already did one of the hands just to make sure we're good to go. And then all the crevices, I'm gonna do a little bit of panel liner from Tamiya. So just sit back, I'm gonna do all these little dry brushes here, and I'll see you at the next paint. Oh man, I will start out with saying that I had to wrap my brain around this concept for a couple days, because I took like a good 2 days off to think about this and test different blacks and different things, and oh yeah. In the end, it came out exactly what I was looking for, but it was a lot of trial and error, and you can see some of the gloss and some of the different differentials of color on the actual the leg already sitting in front of there. But I'm gonna start out by using a Vallejo gloss black, and this is specifically a gloss black. Didn't even know this paint existed until I stopped at Hobbytown one day and was like, hey look, it's not just a normal black. So I really like this color, and you're gonna see over this period on why I actually do like this color. And yet again, this is part of that trial and error that I was kind of talking about. So the suit itself has multiple variations of black throughout it, but there's literally only so many blacks that you want to paint over an entire model at a single time. So in this period of time, I actually pulled out a polyurethane matte varnish that I use usually to finish all my stuff. And I'm actually going to put this over top of the matte black primer that I used outside. And this is going to actually give a good difference, not only in the black, but it's going to add a nice like sheen to the overall leg itself. And it's going to give a good variety of black compared to just the gloss black that I used on the carbon fiber weave. And an absolute another oh man moment. I will tell you straight off the bat that I wish I would have taken my time and actually laid down a base coat of pink, white, whatever, to to actually do this part and mask it off and do it with the airbrush instead of a brush, because this part took absolutely forever and I don't wish this upon anybody else. But I'm using a Vallejo Sun Yellow here, and this is actually going to go over that entire cross section of the model itself. If you know the character, you know that most of our suit has this bright kind of orangish yellow. It's not a perfect yellow, and I think this Sun Yellow actually hits the color perfect. I'm literally gonna have to do this coat like I gave up on counting any. It was probably like 6, 7, 8 coats total, but the color is exactly what you would be looking for this model. And just a small continuation of the yellow. After all those coats, I pull out a gold yellow, and I'm gonna do a little bit of dry brushing over the center part, mainly because there's actually lights on her chest, like a LED base, that are supposed to kind of glow down her body. So this orange kind of is that mid-tone. If you have like a 0.2 airbrush, I would highly recommend just thinning it down, putting it through a 0.2 and going over the middle parts of this, because it'll actually show a lot better than what I did. But I'm just going to do this kind of as a shadow tone, as well as kind of the glow from the LED itself. Yep, and for the arms part of the yellow, I literally, here you go, I got sick of it, and I pulled out just a normal little pink from Vallejo, and I'm doing this as a base coat over the arms. Still wish I would have masked it off and actually used my airbrush on this, because, man, yellow is, it's a hard color to work with. And next up, I'm going to pull out a Vallejo Orange Fire. This is going to be my base for all my LED effects all over it. And then I'll later go over it with a fluorescent orange to actually give it kind of a nice bright effect that you would be looking for. Even in the dark, it kind of glows, which is really sweet. Alright, and hopping over to the airbrush booth, I'm going to start out with laying what I want to call a zenithal, but it really was over the face only. But I'm going to use this to actually highlight some of the sword as well, because there's an LED effect that goes up the side of the sword. But I'm going to start out with doing the face itself first. And a quick little splash of yellow, which is that same Sun Yellow. Mix this down. I'm just going to go over part of the actual sword at the bottom. There's a little bit of yellow bits on it, so. And next up, I'm going to pull out that fluorescent Flu Red from Vallejo, as well as their orange. I'm going to lay down the red first and then the orange over top of it to give it this kind of cyberpunky-ish LED glow effect up the side of the blade. I could have personally done something different, but this is kind of what I had in my mind when I first started doing this model. And hopping back over to the overhead, I'm going to pull out a Luftwaffe uniform. This is kind of like a grayish black, comes out a little darker than I would have wanted to. Probably could have used a neutral gray for this, but I'm just going to be coating one of these wires. These are actually wires that are connecting everything here. I'm going to actually use this as one of the inside wires on both sides, and then I'm going to do an outer part of this in that same sun yellow that I've been using for the entire model. And back into that LED glow effect. This is literally all over the model, so I'm just pulling out that same fire orange or orange fire, whatever it was, and I'm going to use some of the leftover fluorescent orange that I used on the blade from my airbrush. I just had some in a cup, and I'm going to go over all the little pieces and parts of this model with this orange pieces. And from this part on, I'm going to start piecing this model together slowly but surely because it's gigantic and I just don't want all these parts sitting all over my bench while I'm working on some other stuff for this model. So I'm just going to start piecing it together. Up and up and up we go. And for a little splash of creativity. So her hair is actually kind of like a shiny black. So I'm going to take a neutral gray and I'm going to dry brush this with barely any paint on this brush. Do not put a lot of paint on this brush, really wipe it off. And I'm going to go over all the actual seams of her hair, and you can see that it's barely catching. And once this neutral gray dries, it's going to kind of blend in with the black, but it's going to create a nice like light effect over the actual hair itself, and you're gonna end up getting this kind of like silky-ish, white-ish black hair that you're kind of looking for, like not like old lady hair, but like the perfect black where it doesn't just blend in with the rest of this model, especially because the whole suit is black. And back over to the airbrush booth, we're going to start out with a squid pink to start out my foundation for some easy skin tones. I'm not going to go crazy in highlights in this model because it's more of an ultra realistic. And at this point it's getting super late at night and my camera and yeah, I just didn't have enough lights on, so nothing was focusing the way that I wanted it to. But anyways, this is just a basic skin cone from Vallejo, and I'm going to put this over that pink, and I'm going to lay this pretty thick, but not too thick, to still show some of that highlight and the pink underneath to give it kind of that fleshy hue that you're looking for. So this is an interesting little mixture. I'm going to put some light flesh inside the cup that I used with some of my leftover basic skin tone. And I'm going to mix this together and give it kind of, that's going to be my highlight tone. So I'm just going to go over the top of the model a little bit to kind of bring out the nose, some of the cheeks, around the eyes, and make sure that there's still a little bit of shadow, but not overly too much because I'm not trying to make this look like a comic book character. And it's portrait time. Everybody's favorite. Actually, my least favorite, and that's why I saved it for last. So I'm just going to start with the Magos Purple, put this in the eyes, and yeah, this is going to create a little pink hue around the eyes. For the lips, I'm just going to use a Vallejo Vermilion mixed with a little Magos Purple and a little bit of white ink, and I'm going to mix all these together to kind of give a pinkish fleshy tone, but it's still red because her lips are quite literally red in the game. And then of course I'm just going to hit the lips with a Vallejo gloss varnish to give them a little shine. For the sclera of the eye is highlight skin white, and this is just going to give it a nice effect without being too white, but keep some of that pink in the eye as well. For the fuzzy caterpillars above her eyelids, I'm just going to mix some dark bronze and a little bit of black together because her eyebrows are not black. They are kind of a brown, but the nice thing about bronze is in a metallic is it actually creates a nice shiny effect, kind of like how I did it on the hair as well with that neutral gray. Mix these two together and you're gonna get a good effect where they stand out on the face. And for probably the most stressful part, because this is where it's a do or die situation, so I'm gonna start out with some of the black that I had left over from the eyebrows, and I'm gonna use this to actually locate the eyes within the sclera. And I'm gonna pull out a flat brown and mix this with a little bit of black to darken it up, and that's gonna give me my nice umbery brown eyeballs that Tachy has. And with a black pupil in the middle, just add a little bit of gloss varnish over top of the eye, and you can pretty much call this portrait done, but not the model just yet. And as I was woohoo cheering thinking I almost had this whole model done so I could start editing this video, I realized I forgot and already literally glued the entire model together to do these little black glowy disc things that are on her back, which are part of her exosuit. So just gonna use some of that fluorescent orange that I had left over and some of that fire orange as well to give that LED glow around the entire thing. And this is it. I'm just gonna end up ending the video here because honestly, I wanted to show my face a little bit, and model's right behind me for scale. Video definitely is not gonna do this one justice. This thing is absolutely enormous, and I don't actually know where I'm gonna put this one yet because this thing is huge. I literally just finished it up, just did a little bit of B-roll. Now I'm going to get into the office and actually start doing all the voiceovers and everything, but I just wanted to actually put the video out on a positive note, see myself again on my last video, and I just wanted to say I hope you enjoyed it and learned how to paint this model if you choose to do it. I'll have a link in the description for this actual model itself, and leave a comment
If you liked what you saw, you learned something, let me know in the comment section, and leave a like too, because that always helps my videos get up in other people's feeds. That's a good thing for everybody. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully I will get rolling something on Labor Day. Hopefully I'll have this video up tomorrow, which is Sunday the 31st. Tomorrow's the 31st. So I'm gonna get working on this video, and I will see you and catch you guys in the next video. So keep on painting, keep on learning, and share with me if you guys paint anything. Until next time, I'll see you.